You are listening to the Love and Confidence Podcast, episode number 106. Welcome to the Love and Confidence Podcast. If you're a woman who wants to feel more irresistible, have more fun, and create deeper and more authentic connections, this podcast is for you. I am your host, Certified Life Coach Lærke Nielsen, and I help you become the best and most confident version of yourself so you can attract the love life you desire. Let's get started. Hey friend, I'm recording this episode in November, but when I prepared it, I realized that when it's airing, it will be the last Thursday before Christmas. So I wanted to talk about something warm and nice, and not a topic like toxic childhood and how that impacts our romantic relationships as adults, which is one of the topics on my list of ideas. But that's gonna be for a future episode. Because today I'm gonna talk about unconditional love and what that means and why that in itself never hurts. Actually, the opposite. It feels amazing. It's a warm and nice topic, and it's actually quite useful to understand this concept. Unconditional love for your romantic partner, but also unconditional love for yourself. And I think the world needs more unconditional love, and that it would be a better place if we as humans became better at practicing unconditional love for others as well as for ourselves. So, my teacher and mentor, Brooke Castillo, always says that love never hurts. And when I first heard that, my brain just wouldn't absorb it. I didn't understand what she meant. Of course it hurts. We go through heartbreak because of love. But the pain we feel in a heartbreak is not love. It's the pain of losing connection and belonging, sharing our daily life with someone. The safety of having one person to be emotionally intimate and vulnerable with. And in many cases, it's also the suffering that comes when we judge circumstances. We judge and resist reality. In other words, we don't accept a breakup, and we want the other person to stay with us, and we want them to love us. We think that if they don't want me, it must mean that I'm not good enough, or that they stop loving me. And if they stop loving me, then my love for them hurts. It's not the love that you feel that hurts. It's the story about what the other person's actions and decisions mean that hurts. And it's the resistance to the new circumstances. The fact that you are no longer together. That is what hurts. The love you feel for another person doesn't hurt unless you tell yourself that they should love you back and they should want you in your life. If you are absolutely free from that and clean and unconditional in your love, you know you can still love someone even if you're not together. You can love them even if they don't love you back. And you can love them if they do love you back, but still choose to not be in your life. And I know this is a state of mind that for some people doesn't feel natural, but I believe everyone can reach that level of thinking if we process our initial emotions to a heartbreak and if we love ourselves equally or more, and that this is a way of thinking that serves us much more than the painful stories about how love hurts if it's not reciprocated or if the other person chooses to leave us. So, it might be provoking to say this, but if you really, truly love someone unconditionally, you will want the best for them. You will want them to be happy, even if that means they are happy without you. You will feel happy for them if they meet someone new. And you won't make a story about this meaning something about you, because you love yourself more than them. And letting go of someone with love is so much more peaceful, and I think it's also more respectful and compassionate to yourself when the alternative is the stories about you not being chosen and not being good enough and so on. When we love that way, it's unconditional. It's the love that is there regardless of circumstances. It is the I love you even if you don't love me. I love you even if you choose to leave. I love you even if I know we can't be together because it would never work. Or, I love you even if I don't love what you did. I love you even if I choose to leave you. I love you and goodbye. You can choose to love someone regardless of whether you're together or not, whether you can ever be together or not. So love can be unconditional like that. Your feelings for another person can be completely unconditional. And unconditional love is the most unselfish form of love because it's not depending on getting something back. You are not keeping score of what they give you back. It's a desire to give love to someone, but without necessarily getting it back. Unconditional love is about wanting the other person to be happy. And it's a love that not only doesn't hurt, it actually feels great. And it's the same love that you can feel for your child or a close family member. There are studies that show that the parts of the brain that light up during unconditional love, they are similar for romantic love and maternal love, and that they are linked to the brain's reward system. This is why unconditional love is in itself rewarding, even if you don't get anything in return. And that is kind of clever, designed right. It's practical that the brain is wired in that sense, that you're actually rewarded when you create strong bonds to either your child or your partner or someone else really close to you. But there's one thing that's important to remember about unconditional love and relationships. Even if you have unconditional love for someone, a relationship can never be unconditional. Unconditional love in a romantic context can only be healthy if you also have boundaries. Loving another human being does not equal that you accept or tolerate everything from them. Abuse, neglect, cheating, disrespectful behavior, and so on, it doesn't go hand in hand with healthy love. So we have to have conditions for a relationship. We need to be compatible, to have shared values, to show mutual respect, have healthy boundaries, and so on. So a relationship can never be unconditional. You don't want to say, I'm committed to being your partner regardless of what you do and how you live your life. But you can actually still say, I will love you regardless of what you do and how you live your life, if this is how you feel. In a relationship, the unconditional love doesn't just pop up after 3 months of dating. It takes much more time and a lot of trust and mutual commitment and emotional intimacy and safety and so on. And if the relationship doesn't work out, yes, you can stop loving the other person, but you can also still love the other person and choose to leave them. And the way you think about unconditional love inside a relationship, that can also be useful if you are dating, because the unconditional love is a pure and unattached love. In dating, of course, you don't love your dating connections unconditionally. You don't even love them yet. It's too early. You only just met them. But you can translate the philosophy of wanting your partner to be happy into only wanting to date someone who themselves want it as much as you, who shows up and is interested by themselves, who comes towards you by themselves, and who has the feeling that being with you makes them more happy than being without you. Just like I can love someone without the condition of them loving me back, I also only want someone who's here with me without me trying to make them want to be here. So no chasing, no convincing, no trying to prove your worth to him. In fact, the more you try to market yourself instead of just being yourself, the less likely you are to attract someone who could love you unconditionally for who you are, not what you are doing or have achieved in your life. And this leads me to unconditional self-love. Now, what does that look like? Many of you might think that if you love yourself unconditionally and you are not hard on yourself when you fail at something, it means that you won't make an effort and you won't strive to become better or achieve new goals in life. But that is not what is meant by unconditional self-love. Unconditional self-love is when you choose to love the essence of who you are. Even if you don't always love or feel proud of the things you do. Even if you are an imperfect human being who has work to do. Unconditional self-love is when you decide to play on your own team. You are with yourself, not against you. You don't beat yourself up or judge or criticize yourself if something doesn't work out. Instead, you show yourself understanding and compassion, and then you get curious about why it didn't work out. You see what you can learn and decide how you want to show up next time. You commit to trying again and again, even if you fail. And you commit to loving yourself and the essence of who you are in good and bad times, while being a person who's growing and learning. And you want to hear the good news. The better you become at loving yourself, the better you become at loving others. You expand your capacity to love. You find it easier to not get caught up in the little details of things they did and said or didn't do and didn't say. You become a more compassionate and forgiving human being, and you become more open to other people being different than you. Isn't that just amazing? And isn't that just what we need in this world? More tolerance, accept, and unconditional love. Well, it all starts with ourselves. Thank you for listening today, and Merry Christmas to those of you who celebrate that. Don't forget, no matter if you're single or not, you are loved, you are worthy, and you are important in this world. Have an amazing week. If you like what you're hearing on this podcast and you want to get support from a coach on your love journey, I invite you to book a free consult call with me. You will find the link in the show notes. And also, don't forget to subscribe, and I would love it if you would rate and review this podcast, and then you'll also help other women find it.